Did you know there's a country with practically no crime and no army? A place where you can literally swim between two continents? And get this, they have an app to make sure you don't accidentally date your cousin. A country where the ground is literally tearing itself apart, where the sun doesn't set in summer, and where the people are descended from Vikings. This is a journey to a place that will challenge everything you thought you knew about the world. So, let's get into it. It's a land of unbelievable contrasts, where fire and ice are in a constant battle. This isn't some sci-fi movie. This is Iceland. Want to discover more jaw-dropping facts? Join us as we explore 15 amazing truths about Iceland. 1. The land of fire and ice. And let me tell you, this isn't just some catchy tourism slogan. It's the literal truth. The country sits right on top of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is the massive underwater mountain range separating the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. That was a huge reminder to the world of Iceland's power. But for Icelanders, it's just part of living next to giants like Hekla, which was once called the gateway to hell. Amazingly, despite all this heat from below, about 10% of Iceland is still covered by massive glaciers. Iceland has cleverly turned this geological feature into its biggest asset, becoming a world leader in clean energy. Thousands of people actually hiked out to safely watch fountains of lava light up the night sky. It was like a real-life geological theme park. It shows you how Icelanders respect the danger, but also marvel at the raw power that created their home. The biggest one, Vatnajökull, is so huge you can see it from space. Imagine, in the middle of a freezing winter, your heat comes directly from the planet's natural warmth. They even use it to heat sidewalks and streets in Reykjavik to keep them clear of ice and snow. In Iceland, hot tubs are more than just a place to relax. They're a vital part of the country's social life. These are the local hangout spots where friends meet up, families chill, and business deals get done. You can even find yourself soaking next to a local politician or celebrity. It's a place where all social barriers just melt away. It's this crazy mix. You can be standing near a volcano feeling the warm ground and looking out at a giant ice cap. This wild combination of fire and ice defines everything about Iceland and makes it one of the most unique places you'll ever see. This thing is enormous, covering about 8% of the entire country. At Lyngvellir National Park, you can stand in the valley between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. Over millions of years, this has created a stunning landscape of canyons and cracks. To give you an idea, the ice is almost a kilometer deep in some spots. It's so big, it actually creates its own weather. Our journey starts with Iceland's famous nickname, the land of fire and ice. There are an estimated 10,000 of them across the country, from tiny cascades to absolute monsters. Hidden underneath all that ice are some of the country's most active volcanoes. It's known as the most powerful waterfall in Europe, and the sound alone is just awe-inspiring. Then there's Gullfoss, the Golden Falls, where it looks like a whole river just vanishes into the earth. The waterfalls here are like the lifeblood of the landscape, and they are absolutely everywhere. Iceland's coastlines are all about drama. The most famous is Reynisfjara, the legendary black sand beach in the south. Walking on it feels like you stepped onto another planet. The sand is made of tiny, black volcanic rocks, which makes the white foam of the waves look even more intense. Then there's Skogafoss, a perfect, powerful wall of water where local legend says a Viking buried a chest of gold. In summer, you get the midnight sun. Around June, the sun barely sets. In Reykjavik, the sky stays bright all night long, giving you this golden twilight that lasts for hours. It feels like you have endless time to explore. Back in 930 AD, the Vikings founded the Alþingi, which is considered the world's first ever parliament, right there in Lyngvellir National Park. You get the polar night with only 4 or 5 hours of weak sunlight a day. Seeing those dancing ribbons of green and purple light up the sky is something you will never ever forget. The rest of the time is darkness. It might sound gloomy, but it creates this super cozy vibe, with towns glowing warmly in the snow. This is most obvious in their language, which has barely changed over the last 1,000 years, and then pipes the mineral-rich runoff into the world-famous Blue Lagoon. Kids are still given traditional Norse names, and there's even a modern revival of the old Norse pagan religion Azatro, which is officially recognized by the government. It's a living history that you can feel all around you. For centuries, living on a remote island meant you couldn't be picky. They had to use everything they had, which led to some interesting traditional dishes. It asks like an English speaker being able to read Beowulf in its original text as if it were written yesterday. They make laws, settle disputes, and share news. It's a powerful reminder that this rugged island has one of the longest, most peaceful democratic histories on the planet. Fresh Greenland shark is actually poisonous, so the Vikings figured out that if you bury it for a few months and then hang it to dry, it becomes edible. It has a very, very strong ammonia smell and a taste that's a real challenge. Instead of a family surname, your last name is based on your father's first name. It's usually chased with a shot of Brennivin, the local schnapps known as Black Death. The phone book is alphabetized by first name. It has a direct link to their Viking past, and another thing that makes Iceland feel completely different from anywhere else. If a man named John has a son named Olafur, his full name is Olafur Johnson, which just means John's son. For all its Viking history, Iceland is consistently ranked as the most gender-equal country in the world. It's held the top spot in the World Economic Forum's report for over a decade. Today, Iceland has laws making it illegal to pay men more than women for the same work and a great shared parental leave system. It is proof that this rugged little island is also one of the most progressive places on Earth. It's a powerful reminder that our planet is still full of magic, mystery, and surprises. If he has a daughter named Katrin, she's Katrin John's daughter, or John's daughter. Which of these mind-blowing facts surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you. This means everyone in a single family can have a different last name. You won't want to miss where we're going next. Until then, keep exploring. They didn't go to work, cook, or do childcare. The women's stay-off completely shut the country down and showed just how vital women were to society. It's an experience. It's a land where the forces of nature are raw and visible, and where ancient history lives right alongside a super modern society. This open-air assembly was how they built a nation, not with a king, but with laws and agreements. It might sound strange, but it comes from a history of not letting anything go to waste. While modern Icelandic restaurants are full of amazing fresh lamb and seafood, these traditional foods are a proud link to their resilient past. From volcanoes under glaciers to walking between continents, this country is full of surprises. If you're enjoying these amazing facts, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. They're called the Hodafolk, or hidden people, and they are a serious part of the local folklore. The general attitude is, it's better to be safe than sorry. The hidden people are said to live in certain rocks and hills, and it's considered very bad luck to disturb their homes. We have so much more of our incredible planet to explore together, and you won't want to miss a single trip. There are documented cases where roads and construction projects have been rerouted just to avoid destroying a rock believed to be an elf home. It's a fascinating look into a culture that still has room for a little bit of magic in the modern world. Now, let's get back to the wonders of Iceland. The story goes that two trolls were turned to stone by the morning sun while trying to drag a ship to shore. It's a place of wild beauty, but be careful, the waves here are no joke and are known for being dangerously unpredictable. It's known for being some of the purest water in the world, with visibility over 100 meters. It's the only place on the planet where you can put on a dry suit, jump in, and snorkel or dive right between the continental plates. You can literally reach out and touch North America and Europe at the same time. Pretty wild, right? They look like they were carved by a giant. And just offshore, you'll see the Reynisdrangar sea stacks, which are these jagged pillars rising out of the ocean. In winter, you can explore these breathtaking caverns of brilliant blue ice. Stepping inside one feels like you're inside the frozen heart of the glacier itself. Truly an unforgettable experience. Like clockwork, every 5 to 10 minutes, it shoots a massive column of boiling water up to 40 meters in the air. It's an incredible show of nature's power. They literally turned the byproduct of a power plant into one of the most amazing spas on Earth. It's named after the Great Geyser, which gave its name from the Old Norse word for to gush to all the others around the world. It's a perfect example of how Iceland works in partnership with nature. Magma is constantly pushing up from the Earth's core, creating a landscape that feels like it's still under construction. On average, an eruption happens every 4 to 5 years, so it's a regular part of life there. You see it in the huge dark lava fields that look like something from another planet. The fire part comes from the island being one of the most volcanically active spots on Earth. But then there's the ice, too. A hotbed of volcanic activity. So, just how fiery is Iceland? Well, it's home to over 30 active volcanic systems, which is a wild number for a country the size of Kentucky. You probably remember the 2010 eruption of Eyjafjallajökull. You know, the volcano with the name no one can pronounce that shut down all of Europe's air travel. And here's something fascinating. The recent eruptions near Reykjavik weren't just seen as a disaster. 3. The geothermal powerhouse. What do you do when your country is basically sitting on a giant volcano? You plug into it. Did you know that almost 90% of all homes in Iceland are heated with geothermal water? The system is genius. Take the Svartsengi power plant. It drills deep underground to get superheated water, uses it to make electricity. 4. The land of geysers and hot springs, all that geothermal energy also creates one of Iceland's most iconic sights, geysers. In fact, the word geyser actually comes from Iceland. Today, the main attraction is its neighbor, Strákar. But it's the hot springs, or hot pots, that are a huge part of the culture. 5. Europe's largest glacier. Now, let's switch from fire to ice. Iceland is home to Vatnajökull, the largest glacier in all of Europe. But this is Iceland, so of course, there's a twist. But this interaction also creates something magical, ice caves. 6. Walk between continents. Did you know there's a place on Earth where you can literally walk between 2 continents? The 2 continents are drifting apart at about 2.5 centimeters a year, which is roughly the same speed your fingernails grow. And it gets even cooler. One of these cracks, the Sulphur Fissure, is filled with crystal clear glacial water. 7. A paradise of waterfalls. If there's one thing Iceland has no shortage of, it's waterfalls. Each one has its own vibe. You've got Seljalandsfoss, where a path lets you walk completely behind the curtain of water. But if you want to see raw power, you have to go to Dettifoss in the north. The power and beauty of Iceland are truly on another level, aren't they? 8. Black sand beaches and basalt columns forget the white, sunny beaches you see in the tropics. The beach is also framed by these incredible cliffs of perfectly shaped, hexagonal basalt columns. Of course, there's a local legend for them. 9. The extremes of midnight sun and polar night, because it's so close to the Arctic Circle. Iceland experiences some serious extremes when it comes to daylight. Then winter comes, and it's the complete opposite. And here's the best part. Those long, dark nights create the perfect canvas for the greatest light show on Earth, the Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights. 10. Home to the world's oldest parliament. You might think of Iceland as geologically young, but its democracy is one of the oldest in the world. Every summer, chieftains from all over the country would gather here. It wasn't just for politics. It was the biggest social event of the year. Today, you can visit this UNESCO World Heritage Site and stand in the exact spot where it all happened over 1,000 years ago. 11. Viking heritage and a language frozen in time. The spirit of the Vikings is still very much alive in Iceland. Amazingly, because of the country's isolation, modern Icelanders can pick up the ancient Viking sagas, these epic medieval stories about heroes and voyages, and read them easily. Think about that. This connection to the past is everywhere. 12. A cuisine born from necessity. Okay, let's talk about Icelandic food because it is definitely unique. The most famous is hakaro, which is fermented shark. Then you have things like svi, a boiled sheep's head, and fritzbunger, or cured ram's testicles. 13. The reality of elves and hidden people. Here's a fun one. In a country as modern and progressive as Iceland, a surprising number of people will not deny the existence of elves. Surveys have shown that while few people are 100% certain they exist, more than half the population thinks it's possible or likely, and this belief has had real-world consequences. 14. A country without surnames. Imagine a country with no family names. No Smiths, no Joneses, no Garcias. That's Iceland. They still use the traditional Norse naming system. Here's how it works. Because of this, everyone in Iceland goes by their first name, even the president. 15. A global leader in gender equality. For our final fact, we're looking at something incredibly modern. This didn't happen by accident. A key moment was in 1975, when 90% of the country's women went on strike for a day. Just 5 years later, Iceland elected Vigdis Finnbogadóttir as president, making her the world's first democratically elected female head of state. From walking between continents to meeting people who might believe in elves, Iceland is more than just a place to visit. The island's eccentricities are its biggest strength. It's a nation that has fully embraced its contradictions to create a culture that is totally and wonderfully unique. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through Iceland. And if you have a passion for travel and discovery, and you want to see more of the world's most fascinating places, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.